gotta stand up, you know. Normally, is the music still happening? It's not my music. Turn it the hell off. Okay. Normally, I have a period of time, I know a month or so in advance when I'm going to do one of these things. And I want to be worthy of your time and make a show. And I'll fight with PowerPoint for probably 4 or 5 days, embedding media objects in it and stuff. So it's a slick presentation where all I ever have to do is hit advance. And the next thing that I planned happens. This is not what's going to happen today. I've been in awe and in admiration of presentations I've seen by other legends like Steve Ritchie or Eugene Jarvis, where they haven't done that much to plan for it. They've just sort of brought their legendary presence into the room. So I hope to pull that off. Let's see. Okay. I don't hear any. Okay, well, that didn't work. So I guess the first big question that I see everywhere, now that the game is, you know, that torturous reveal with little bits of things, and now people, you know, people know more stuff. And if Jack said it one time, he said it a dozen times, you know? Yeah, they got some John Williams, but what kind of John Williams do you have? Is it John Williams or is it John R. Williams, who's that guy from Jersey who does that other stuff? No. No, this is John Williams. And so understand, for the YouTube streaming of this talk, I am not playing any John Williams in my talk, which makes Chase very happy because he doesn't have to mute it. Otherwise, YouTube, you know, is like that. And I can't speak to any of the licensing issues because I really don't know. And I never do that, right? I'm just subject to what they negotiated. But I have no idea how they did that. But there is some detail I can share because people are playing it, and so it doesn't violate my NDA. They have Hedwig's theme. Who can sing Hedwig's theme? Okay. Da 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 da. Okay. That's Hedwig's theme. It's the owl. It's the owl. It's Harry's owl. Okay, and that's his theme. We have it, the classic representation played on the Celeste, which is a beautiful bell-like orchestral image, and that's what everybody keys off of. When you press the start button, you get that. Game over, we're done. I could go home now. That happens every time we're waiting for you to plunge the ball, player 2, player 3, anytime you're heading into main play. Then when you get into main play, which is basically what happens as soon as the playfield is valid, there's an orchestral version of Hedwig's theme, which plays beautiful violins doing all that stuff. And that will play until you start something else, which might only take 2 seconds on this game. Then the Nimbus theme. Anybody? Are any Potterheads here? Nimbus. Wow, you have a lot to learn. Nimbus is Harry's super duper broom, the thing he flies on during the Quidditch matches and stuff. And that theme is da 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 da. I started in the wrong key. In any case, that's played for the Quidditch tryouts, the first time you put the ball on the upper playfield. And when you roll off of that, you've achieved the level of Quidditch player that you are. And the best, of course, is to be the seeker. And that will affect your points later on. So you want to do a good job when you get the ball up on the upper playfield. Then if you spin the spinner on the upper play field sufficient numbers of times, you will start a Quidditch match. And that's another version of the Nimbus theme that's bigger, more orchestra, more stuff. And that plays until you catch the snitch. Yes, yes, okay, great. We're on board. More John Williams. During the high score entry, should you be so lucky, there's some more of Hedwig's theme, which in the piece of stuff that we acquired comes back and bigger, right? And that's very pleasant. A nice reward to be entering your initials or your novel on a JJP machine, one letter at a time. I'm old school. I come from like 3 characters, right, where you can't be bad. And one final piece of John Williams is at the very, very end of the game on the transition to attract mode, there's a screen and there's a John Williams, the very end of this entire piece is this orchestral swell to a bang, right? It takes about 4 seconds. And that's the last thing that seals the deal. John Williams is in this game. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about John Williams. Oh, I went the wrong way. Oh, let me share some things I did. So now I have to operate my computer because my PowerPoint slide deck has 5 slides. And if I'd known earlier than Monday that I was doing this, I probably would have embedded them on these 5 slides, but I didn't. But this shouldn't be too bad. There we go. So, one of the first things I'll share is this game has terrific tutorial videos. Okay? During attract mode, there's a way of getting to the tutorial screen, and it plays little tutorials that show you things about the modes. Now, in any sane universe, these are silent, and in the game, they are silent. But I put some music from the mode that the tutorial is for so that I could show off the music and the tutorials simultaneously. Let's see if this works. Okay. There's one more. Okay, stop, I think. Oh, oh, there's more. Or is that the same one? No, there's more. Okay, that, yeah. The last one was for Quidditch multi-ball, which when you play 3 Quidditch matches, I think you have to catch the snitch. I'm not sure. You then are qualified Quidditch multi-ball. But Quidditch multi-ball is the World Cup featured from, I think, the 3rd or 4th movie, where you have the Bulgarians with Crumb versus the Irish guys. I don't even know who the Irish guys are. But so when you play that, you alternate between the Irish team and the Bulgarian team. And when the Irish guys have the ball, the thing, I forget its name, help me out, that, then you have the Irish music. That was the Irish music. I didn't feature the Bulgarian music. You go up the ramp to the upper playfield, you switch teams. And now you score Bulgarian jackpots. And you get more points. You have to score, I think it's 5 jackpots before you qualify the super jackpot. And you get more points if a couple of them are Bulgarian and a couple of them are Irish. Yeah. So I'm not going to do a lot about rules because there isn't enough time, and frankly, I don't know them as well as I should. And it's really for Eric to do in 2 weeks, so, fine. Okay, what else do I have? Let me go back. Isn't this fun? Oops. No, I want to do that. Tutorials. Okay, so this is, there are movie modes in this game. And you start a movie mode by spinning the right spinner if you need to, and then putting the ball in the scoop. And then in a choreographed moment, we put up an interface so you can pick one of the 6 movies. So it's your choice. You can play whichever movie you want to. But once you start the movie, we've picked, there are a fall semester and a spring semester and final exams. And each one of those features 5 30-second lessons. Okay? So every mode in these movies is timed, basically. And the minute you do the shots required, you move on to the next lesson. After 5 lessons, you've finished the fall semester, then you go to the, okay, you got the idea. I'm going to feature some things, the backgrounds that I wrote for, this is movie 3, and this is Act 1. So we called them acts, right, during development, but they're really the fall semester. Okay, how do I get you to play? Oh, I just click on you, I'll bet.
Aunt Marge's big mistake.
Finish that off a moment. Just a small, excellent lost tune. And a drunk too, no doubt. My dad wasn't a drunk. Clean it up. Actually, it's nothing to do with father. It's all to do with mother. You see it all the time with dogs. If there's something wrong with the bitch, then there's something wrong with the pup.
Okay. I like that I am March. Stop that. I hit the space bar, you person. Stop that. Oh, see? This is why I don't do this live, mostly. So, while yeah, it's my Aunt March theme, and I thought that, I liked that. I had a good time rescoring all the movies, right? Hell, John Williams only did 3 films. I only did 6. Pierce Colbert did 7, did 5 and 6. Okay, so at any time, if you hit the last shot that's required, and which shots are required are based on the characters in the film and the features on the playfield and anything else to make it interesting. If you make that last shot, then you go to a made sequence, which features a full screen thing, and that's what just played, and I was so irritated about. This should work. So that tells you you did it. Now we move on to lesson 2.
The Night Bus. The monster.
Okay, stop that. And I'll just play the last 3. I'll just play them. I mean, you know, if you've seen the movies, this is the one about the Book of Monsters. This was a lot of fun to write.
The Monster Book of Monsters.
Okay, and what's this?
The Dementor's Kiss.
Ridiculous! Wonderful. Ridiculous.
Okay, now the whole point to this, thank you. From my point of view, for the player, is contrast. The first time you do this, you're not going to get it, right? But after a few games, you'll begin recognizing these things. Because face it, you're not really looking up at the screen all that much if you're not player 2. If you're player 1 and you're playing the game, the video is kind of optional. You're not really watching these. So it goes to the sound to carry the information that, oh, I'm in this mode. Now, I've played this game enough times to know that when I'm in that Dementor mode, I need to make this shot and this shot and this shot, and I can do it. So with familiarity, as you begin getting expertise in doing this, you start playing better and better, and you're accomplishing getting deeper into the movie. That's the function, the reason why I insist on having so much contrast between the different movie things. Plus, I want to make them as appropriate as possible, you know, and the Book of Monsters couldn't be further away from the Dementors, which couldn't be further away than Aunt Marge, you know, which has her goofy tuba theme and stuff. So that's what I'm trying to do. I hope I'm doing it. Let's see if I do that and that. What's next? Okay, I captured this from the game. I didn't capture any playfield stuff because my game is a whitewood and they'd kill me if I shared that. But this is just the screen from the completion of the monster thing.
Explore Hogwarts Multi-Ball. Classroom's Jackpot. Move. Towers Jackpot. Shoot the right orbit. Hogwarts Super Jackpot. Shoot the side ramp. Horcrux collecting. Protego! Castle Grounds Jackpot. Time added. Head for Dumbledore's army. Combo travel advised. Flying car. An extra ball is lit.
Well, I couldn't be more surprised than you to have completely described the wrong thing. That obviously was not the completion of the monster book, but rather that was a pass-through Explore Hogwarts multi-ball. And that's probably the easiest multi-ball to get, though not trivial. Depending on how you've set your game, it can be pretty easy to get into. And it's the only multi-ball it is. And so you can see you're getting all those jackpots based on locations in the game, all the different locations in Hogwarts and people and stuff. So great fun. And let's see what else I can find. How surprising this will be. Oh, this is it.
Shoot the ones. Shoot the orbit. Happy for.
Okay, so those are a couple of the completes. We call them maids. So you're playing the movie mode, you make the last shot you need, and then you go off to this clip, which gives you a nice reward with synced audio and big fanfare, and you move on to the next scene in the movie. Okay. Nope, I have to do that. Dementor completed, did that. Okay, would you like to hear some of the stuff from movie 4? Because I did all 5 scenes of that from fall semester. The namespace here gets really complicated after 18 months.
Port Key.
Hey, Dad, where are we going?
Harry Potter, keep up! Arthur! This is Amos Diggory, everyone. That's with me at the Ministry. The strapping young lad must be Cedric, am I right?
2.
Harry!
That's the maid for that one.
And the High Master, Igor Karkaroff.
Blimey, it's him. Victor Crumb.
The truth is, most of that was just luck.
Stop. Okay, okay. Now, one of the things about doing these is scoring for pinball is different than scoring a movie. There isn't continuous music in movies. They stop the music sometimes. They just talk or walk or blow up something. I mean, the entire Ben-Hur chariot race, one of the most biggest set pieces ever done, has no music, just horses. So it's a little different scoring these things for pinball because I'm putting music everywhere. I mean, the music is continuous, all 30 seconds behind these clips. And so there's music behind things in these clips. There never was music before. It's kind of got to be that way because that's the way we do it. The notion that pinball will be silent at some point, we may be on that cutting edge, but we didn't do that here. Okay, so this is the final exam. Okay, so after you have done both semesters, then final exam is lit. Oh, okay, that's right at the beginning of this. So I wrote a piece of music to let you know you should shoot the scoop to start the last 6 acts. And in
Luna loves loops. Repeat upper flipper loop shots. Extra credit for Quidditch.
It's very impressive, isn't it?
The Patronus. Potion awarded at Ball Saver.
Hello, Harry Potter. It's obvious, isn't it?
Okay, so what we're seeing here is a movie mode is running, right, in the background, but the orbits, the left one and the right one, are associated with, on the left, that's the allies, which are Dumbledore's army. Those are the kids who are loyal and being trained by Harry, and there's 10 of them, and you collect them. When you collect so many under certain circumstances, there are 2 modes associated with the ones on the left. On the right side, on that orbit, there's the other set of allies, which are the adult allies, which is the Order of the Phoenix. Yeah, and so all the adults, and there's 10 of them, and you collect them too. There are 4 of these allies modes, and I really liked the little tune that I wrote for Luna. So this takes precedent over anything else because it's a timed mode. We can see right now how much time is left. Can I see it? It's somewhere here. Maybe I can't. Let me back it up a little. Let me see. Oh, right there. 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. This is...
It's obvious, isn't it?
Aha. But this stacks right on top of the movie modes. You're still accomplishing your movie stuff, but you make the Luna shots, which is making more of the orbits that started the mode, you get big points. Of course, that's why we're here. There you go. And what else happens here?
Shoot the Hermione target. Death Eater. Elder Wand unlocked. Go to the Forbidden Forest.
Okay, so that was the Death Eater multi-ball, which you get by killing, or I think you have to kill the Death Eater 3 times. So you have to go in and have a Death Eater battle, And when you've done that 3 times, you qualify the multi-ball, and then that's what that looks like. And when I capture these, keep in mind, this is the oddest way to play this game. You never play the game this way because you're not looking at this. So it makes less sense than it might. The lighting on the play field and with the ball and stuff, it makes way more sense. But it was the fastest way for me to gather up some of the sound effects that go with the music, and I thought you would want to see that. Oh, what else do I have here? As you can see, I'm almost running out of stuff. Is that theater? What's this? I can't read it. Oh, okay. Every time you play a multi-ball, you're one notch further to the movie 8, Battle of Hogwarts. This is the big one. And you get it by playing n number of multi-balls. And so when you finish a multi-ball, not only do we show you the points that you got for that, but we show you how close you're getting.
Just come at last.
So that's what that was. It has to be quick. I could do it again. Nah. Yeah. Do it again.
Your moment has come at last.
Okay. All right. So what is this? How do we even tell? I go here. BOH. Oh, okay. So to end up, I just grabbed some of my favorites, things I wrote, and I just put 3 together in a WAV file. I'm going to heaven. Anybody want to guess where that one comes from? The last one? No, not Train. It's pretty obscure. Early on, when they want to get to a place that's protected by a 3-headed dog, which is, what's his name's pal? Fluffy. Yeah, that's the music for the 3-headed dog. After they discover it and realize, oops, the harp's not playing. So that's what that was for. Hard to work backwards from those, really. Let me stop this, start it over. So this is a small, I built the Battle of Hogwarts suite. There are 4 pieces of music, one for each stage that you have to accomplish in this wizard mode. And you would expect that they each get bigger and bigger things happen and stuff. So They need to be distinct, but they all need to be battle music. I studied what the guy did for movie 8, you know, and took some direction there, but this is my stuff. Bring on the giants. We might win this thing. Okay, let's see. I think I've exhausted my playlist. Ooh, I have. And let's see, time. I got a little time left. I actually, what's here now? Oh, statistics. Oh, this is the wrong one. Okay, it doesn't matter. I mean, the information's right. I had just formatted it differently. Okay, so it actually in the real slide for this somehow I'm playing the wrong one. It says useless statistics because kind of, you know, how many you got. How does fun correlate to that? Well, actually, it kind of does in a way. But let's just say, I went back, because I have access, I went back and counted how many pieces of music there were in The Hobbit, and there were 69. And there were 41 pieces in Dialed In, and 52 pieces in Pirates. Hold my beer. There's 186 pieces of music in Harry Potter. Now, bigger is not necessarily better or more. What if they're all crummy? You know, you just make WAV files and give them random names. But the key is, the only reason a piece of music exists in a pinball game that I'm involved with is because it represents information for you. Something has changed. You've left main play, you're in a mode. You've left the mode, you're in a hurry up. You've left the hurry up, you're in a multi-ball. You're in stage 1 of the multi-ball. You're in stage 2. Every one of those things is useful for you because what you're supposed to be doing changes. So I want that information, you know, to be presented in an entertaining way. The music has other purposes too, like it puts you in the world, hopefully. I'm going to put you in a magic world. And if it's really tuneful, it's got to change once in a while. It becomes painful. But really, it's the information that's important. So when you say you have 186 pieces, that is derived backwards from the rule set. I wouldn't have made 186, and I didn't make all of those. Pierce did 32, and John Williams did 6. So, but I did a bunch of them. And the reason they exist is to support the rule set, which gives you a clue there's a fair amount to do in Harry Potter Pinball. And so I went on. Sound effects. Hobbit has 855. Dialed In had 474. 705 for Pirates. so far, and there will be more, there's 1,086 sound effects in Harry Potter, so it makes sense. And again, the sound effects only exist to tell you you've done something. Most of the time, it's a good thing, or even a better thing. And in some cases, there's a lot of them because everything about pinball is progression. Either you make the same shot over and over again, each time you get more points for doing it. And so that should be reflected in the reward. So the sounds get bigger each time you do it, so you need more sound assets. Or everything's about spelling. Pinball is always about spelling. Spell Ron. If you spell Ron, then you can qualify the ball lock up on the wand because you've spelled Ron. But I don't make an R sound and an O sound and an N sound, though that could be useful. You hit the N. What's more interesting to you is I hit the first one, I hit the second one. And if I make a distinctive sound for the second one, I only have to hit one of those one more time, and now I will qualify it. Because the third one is the qualifying sound, and it's a big deal. Now, Hermione's a bigger deal. She only has 2 targets. She has 8 things you got to accumulate. So she has 8 distinct sounds, each one getting bigger, slightly longer. And as I play it, I can know, I almost have Hermione qualified. I should concentrate on that because I want to go to Golden Trio multi-ball, but I have to get 2 balls up there and qualify the third lock to be able to start it. So nothing is there. I don't really need to generate these sounds for myself. They're all there to support the rule set. And okay, I want to introduce Pierce Colbert. Pierce has the unique distinction of being, I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think he's the only sound guy employed by a pinball company on the planet. He works for Jersey Jack. He did Elton John. That was his first. So he's been there about 2 years. And he's been helping on this project. And Pierce has owned I'm the old guy, I get to do what I want. Pierce has owned the task of dealing with these stems. STEM, everybody know what a STEM is? Well, it's easy. A STEM is an asset class in a movie or a TV show. Dialogue is an asset class. Sound effects is an asset class. Music is an asset class. And they treat them that way, and then they mix them down into a final mix, which is the stereo thing that you see or the surround thing you hear. But they're kept separate. So in a modern production like this, we got the sound effects stem, which is more than 20 hours, probably 24 hours of sound effects. No music, no dialogue. And so I made versions of all 8 movies where you watch the movie and all you hear are the sound effects. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's useful to me because if I'm looking for a particular thing, just how does that spell sound, I can go to that spot in the movie and I can listen to what it sounds and see if I want to use theirs or use what they have as inspiration or whatever. Same thing for dialogue. Now, dialogue's a lot easier because when somebody says something, most of the time you can understand it, and then you can just grab that. And that was Pierce's job for the last, 14 months. And he's still sane, I think. But see, he's in Chicago, so he could be having wild moments. I don't know. But that's Pierce. Now, on the other side is Mark Silk. People familiar with Mark? Yeah, Mark's a very famous guy. He's a very famous British voice talent. He has, just type in Mark Silk, go to his website. He has a ton of credits. He's done all kinds of things. But for our purposes, at Universal Studios in the world of Harry Potter, he's the voice behind the talking hat. Okay, because the guy who did that in the movies is dead. But in any case, we have Mark Silk, and he's great. He's absolutely great. And so he's done all those call-outs. Now, I have seen some blowback on seeing one playback video who maybe object that there's a little bit much Mark Silk. Yeah, I agree. it's been an exercise to this point. There are 4,185 call-outs available to the programmers for Harry Potter. They aren't all being used. And a lot of them, are marked silk. So it's been an exercise in programming and in game design to put it all in to see how it's working. Some of them are instructional, do this. Some of them are informational, you've done this. Some of them are celebratory, jackpot, or Protego, or something, There's several categories of those kinds of narrator callouts, and it's a real programming task to get that right, to rein them in at the right time, to only put them out. Maybe you have to say, oh, we only do this on ball 1 for player 1 because the other players don't ever need to hear this again. That's all programming, and it just takes a while to get all that right. It will get right, so, don't go crazy. Who's in charge? Well, it's late bound in some peculiar way because, okay, the question was, and I'm supposed to send you the mic, but I'll just tell you, the question was, who's in charge of the balance? Well, I like to think I am, but I'm not. I mean, I do take my best shot at getting the music and the call-outs and the sound effects balanced, but they provide knobs in the user adjustables for the relative contribution of voice and sound effects and music. So you can take my best efforts and say, oh, I don't like that, and turn something down, So ultimately, it's the user who's the last one who can touch it. Getting the mix right on an interactive product is quite challenging because there's a lot of stuff going on, and ideally you would sell me with every machine, and I would have a console, and I would watch you play, and I'd have knobs, and I'd be doing this, ooh, yeah, okay. And just like a sporting event, that would be the optimum for any kind of interactive video game or pinball machine, comes with a sound engineer who does that. But the best we can do is just to make up some algorithms that say, if you talk in a pinball machine, you have to hear it. So speech is the loudest asset in pinball machines, always is. Because if it isn't, and we talk, and you can't understand it, that's unacceptable. So then, with that asset, you have to be very careful not to blot out everything else. But, to the light of day, no music, no sound effects, because you're talking all the time. So really, it's not a matter of mix. It's more a matter of choreography and programming it to only speak when necessary. And we haven't really achieved that, to be fair, because we've only just recently gotten, and in fact, I think there's still another Mark Silk's a pickup session for him. There's going to be even more Mark Silk. So, we have to figure out how to meet that out in the optimum way. No questions from the internets, right? Those guys. I told them I was doing this. I hate you guys. Okay, so Jack sent me a message today and said, have a great time with your thing, and then sent me a long thing somebody posted on Pinside about this basic issue, but more specifically, this person was complaining that they didn't want game sounds to intrude over the movie modes that are playing. All these wonderful scenes with dialogue and sound effects that are playing in the background, they didn't want the sounds of the multi-balls playing on top of them to harm them in any way. Now, this is a tough one, right? I'm not exactly down with this. This is kind of counter to my philosophy that I thought you bought a pinball machine. I didn't think you bought a DVD player because, frankly, at $15K, I don't think that's the best DVD player. I think you could do better at Target for $49 and put a DVD of a Harry Potter movie in it and just play the damn thing. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. But you spent $15,000. It's your machine. So we're going to look into, is there any way to accommodate that in some crazy manner? If people want to nerf gameplay completely and just have the movie modes take precedent over everything, there are ways, I suppose. I mean, I've been thinking about this, but I'm spitballing here, and Jersey Jack will probably kill me for doing it. But, what could you do? You could just pause the movie modes when multi-ball starts, and then resume. Now you can resume your movie. Of course, you haven't made any progress, so players aren't going to like that, because players love everything stacked, all playing at once. That is the tension between AV guys and guys who do rule sets for players, is they would have everything stacked at once to maximize their point values. But when everything's running at once, you can't make any sense to the player. I mean, what do you show them? What do you play for them? Everything's running at once. So there's a tension there. I don't know how exactly we're going to resolve it, but I did want to address it that, that's fair. If that's how an owner feels, if enough people feel that way, I don't know, we'll have to do something. But this is our first pass, and so far, okay, nobody asked me if I liked the game.
We do have a question from the internet, David. Zavadoza on Twitch asks, when you do the scenes for the movies, are the 5 from each semester played in order?
Yes, they are played in order. That was almost a mandate from the licensor. Yes, they are played in order. And it kind of is okay, because you get to pick your movie. And then the 5 iconic scenes, it makes sense to see them in sequence. And frankly, if you are learning the shots to improve your performance as you move through the movie modes, it's kind of nice that they're played in sequence, because you can kind of, oh, I'm here, I need to do this. I'm here, now I need to do this. And I know this because I played it 260 times. And I want to go all the way through the damn movie, get to the final exam so I can get the Horcrux and get on to movies, So, hold on, he'll turn it on. It's on now.
Okay. Question is, when you're creating music, are you using musicians, or are you doing it all yourself with a synthesizer?
Yeah, this is all virtual in that sense. I'm a composer, and modern composers, the younger ones, do an awful lot. This is called prototype music, right? I use virtual synthesizers. I've been gathering them up for 19 years. I have about a dozen orchestras and every other kind of thing. And this project really got me to dig deep and figure out what I actually have and how best to use it. Because, there's writing music, and then there's orchestration. And those are usually 2 different guys. Sometimes John Williams orchestrates his own stuff, but most of the time, the schedule doesn't permit that. So if you look at the credits on movies, count up how many orchestrators there are. There'll be 2 or 3, because it's the management's equivalent of having 9 women make a baby in a month. They really need to speed up the process by the time the composer gets the film to write some music for. So yeah, I do that. It's completely synthetic, but the orchestras really sound, I think, convincing.
So do you write and orchestrate all your?
Yes, yes, I do write and orchestrate, and then I mix, and then I master. Then I go put on my programming hat, and I stick it on source control. Then I go in a spreadsheet, and I figure out how it should be balanced and ducked and all that stuff. I wear a lot of hats in this process. Yeah.
Amazing work. I mean, I cannot tell if it's the movie or the game. It's just brought me back to the whole Harry Potter world, right? I got a kind of like an interesting question. I don't know if you heard about it. If you don't, then that's fine. How much has been J.K. Rowling input in the creation of the pinball game, and is she gonna get one?
Okay, that's an interesting question, and I'm gonna pass that to Eric. I'll send him that and make sure he answers that because I have no idea. I work here. They developed the game 1,700 miles away in Chicago. They only tell me what I need to know to make the sounds, and everything else I don't know. My wild guess is I don't know if J.K. Rowling knows they're making a pinball. That's my guess, okay? And then if she doesn't know it exists, she probably won't get one. But who knows, who knows? I'm just the sound guy.
Do you like the game?
Do I like the game? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm coming close on time. What I got? Okay. Do I like the game? I've had the game, a whitewood with a couple mechanisms that are pre-production that don't work 100%. I've had that since January, and I've flipped the heck out of it. And I like it a lot. Some games are a pain to test. Some games I spend too much time testing because I'm having too good of a time. This is the latter. I'm really, really enjoying it. I think Eric hit it out of the park. And I liked Pirates, and I like Steve Ritchie games. So and I like Alien, okay? So I like games with really interesting things to do with upper flippers. This is that game. There are 4 definite shots off the upper right-hand flipper. And there are 5 shots off the tiny little flipper on the upper left-hand playfield. And on this game, it is better to keep the ball up there if you can, because danger lurks below. So once you learn how to do that stuff, it is a combo monster. If you remember that repeating loop shot you could make in Pirates, triple that. Because you can make that a couple times and then make the other shot that takes you through a U-ramp down the left lane over here through a captive passive spinner. Bam, 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 bam. Whew. I see these things on Pinside where people have been trying to evaluate the play from looking at a top-down picture. I'm so amused. And I'm tempted, but it's not my part to do that, but I'm tempted to go on and just go, you make me laugh. But, I don't want to start that nonsense on Pinside, so I don't do it. But let me tell you, you just reserve judgment till you get to flip it. I mean, that's all. Don't believe me. I'm just a sound guy who sort of plays pinball. I do okay because I have to play it with the glass on to be able to hear it properly. So I have to make some shots, and I've learned to do that. Are we done? He's waving his hand. We're done. Do you want me to be done? Clap if you want me to be done. Okay. Well, I got to go. You're telling me we're out of time. But I want to thank Mike Lorraine, and I want to thank really Jack. Jack is the one. He's responsible for this. He's the one that called me in November of 2023 and said, we really like you to do this. And Eric called, and I just and I'm glad I did, because the results is I'll never do anything like this in my career again. There's just no way that any clients are that crazy to pay for that much stuff. It's too big. It's too crazy. And an IP like this comes once in a lifetime. I kind of felt like I should probably do it. It just sort of made sense. I know how to drive an orchestra, and I sort of know something about pinball. So I probably should do this one. I'm glad I did. So thank you so much for coming. This is the best crowd ever.